Season 8 is officially confirmed, and on the surface, that sounds like exciting news. The cameras are rolling, the production is moving forward, and a new chapter for Hudson and Rex is underway. But beneath all of that excitement lies a heavy truth. This season will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. Diesel, the dog who was Rex, is gone. His sudden passing left not only the cast and crew shaken, but also fans around the world who have followed his journey since the very first episode. Diesel was more than a character. He was a symbol of loyalty, bravery, and love. He was the emotional anchor of the series, and without him, Season 8 feels like uncharted waters. When fans tuned in to Season 7, some noticed Rex moving differently, his eyes carrying a certain weight, a quiet change that only the most devoted viewers picked up on. What no one knew at the time was that Diesel was already fighting for his life behind the scenes. The news of his passing, caused by a sudden burst spleen, shocked everyone. At just 8 years old, Diesel's story came to an end, leaving his final performance in the episode A Room with a Clue as his unintentional farewell. That episode was meant to be a thrilling adventure, but instead it became something far more emotional, a goodbye disguised as fiction, a tribute hidden in plain sight. And now, with Diesel gone, the show must carry forward with Dylan, his nephew, stepping into the impossible role of Rex. It's a bittersweet reality. On one hand, Rex will live on. On the other, Diesel's shadow will forever loom over the series. Fans are torn between hope and heartbreak, excitement and grief. Season 8 is not just the continuation of Hudson and Rex. It is a test of whether the series can still hold the same magic without the dog who defined it. What makes this moment even more heartbreaking is how deeply Diesel's story is tied to John Reardon, the actor who brought Detective Charlie Hudson to life. Their bond wasn't just written into the script. It was real, raw, and powerful. John has often spoken about the connection he shared with Diesel, describing it as something beyond words. They didn't just act together, they trusted each other. On set, Diesel could anticipate John's movements, his tone, even his intentions, almost like they were two halves of the same soul. And while fans saw Hudson and Rex solve cases week after week behind the cameras, it was John and Diesel who built a silent, unbreakable partnership. That's why losing Diesel wasn't just a professional loss for the show, it was a personal tragedy for John himself. And as if fate hadn't already delivered a cruel enough blow, John was fighting his own battle in silence. In late 2023, he revealed that he had been diagnosed with tonsil cancer, a fight that consumed him throughout filming. While fans were watching Hudson and Rex track criminals and save lives on screen, behind closed doors, John was battling for his own survival. He shared glimpses of his struggle on social media, photos that showed the brutal contrast between his strength before treatment and the toll it took on him during recovery. And yet, even at his weakest, John's spirit never broke. He credited the love and support of those around him for carrying him through. Now in 2025, he's cancer-free, cleared to work, and stronger than ever. But imagine the weight he carries stepping back onto the set without Diesel by his side. The dog who comforted him, who matched his every move, who made Hudson and Rex more than just a police drama. That partner is gone. Season 8 will mark John's return, not just as an actor, but as a survivor stepping into a world forever changed. And that's what makes this season so unpredictable. It isn't just about solving cases anymore. It's about watching a man and a production team grapple with grief, legacy, and the impossible task of moving forward without the heartbeat of the show. Will fans embrace Dylan as the new Rex? Or will Diesel's absence cast a shadow too heavy to overcome? That uncertainty is what makes Season 8 not just another chapter, but a story of survival, loss, and resilience. The decision to move forward without Diesel was not made lightly, and the weight of that choice will be felt in every frame of Season 8. Behind the scenes, the production team faced an impossible challenge. How do you replace a dog that can never truly be replaced? Diesel wasn't just trained to act. He was Rex in spirit. His intelligence, his timing, his expressions, all of it made him more than a character. He was a partner. When Diesel passed, his trainer, Sherry Davis, carried the burden of not only grieving for her beloved dog, but also preparing for the future of the series. Quietly, she began working with Diesel's nephews, Dylan and Dante, knowing that fans would one day notice a change. She explained that she kept the heartbreaking news to herself during filming because she couldn't afford to let her grief affect Dylan's training. One wrong signal, one moment of sadness, and Dylan might have sensed her pain, which could have thrown off his progress. It was a silent sacrifice, but one that shaped the future of the show. Now, as we move into Season 8, Dylan officially steps into the role of Rex, while another German Shepherd, Dreamer, serves as his stunt double. On paper, it sounds like a seamless transition. After all, Dylan carries Diesel's bloodline, his energy, his genetics. But here's the truth. No matter how talented Dylan is, no matter how flawlessly he performs, audiences will always remember Diesel. That shadow will linger over every scene, every bark, every glance toward John Reardon. Fans are torn. Some are ready to embrace Dylan, hopeful that the magic of Rex will continue. Others feel a heavy reluctance, almost as if moving forward is a betrayal of Diesel's memory. And that emotional divide is what makes Season 8 so suspenseful before it even airs. Because this isn't just a new season, it's a test of loyalty, both for the audience and for the characters themselves. Can Dylan ever truly capture the essence of Rex? Or will Season 8 be remembered as the moment Hudson and Rex lost its soul? The trainers and cast believe in Dylan, but in the end, it's the viewers who will decide whether this new chapter can live up to the legacy Diesel left behind. And that question hangs in the air, heavy and haunting, as the cameras roll once again. Now, let's talk about what's next. Because Hudson and Rex Season 8 isn't just about the past we've lost, it's about the future that now hangs in the balance. Production has already begun, with cameras rolling as of May 2025 and filming scheduled to last until July. That means if everything stays on track, fans can expect to see the premiere around February 2026. On the surface, that timeline feels familiar, almost comforting, as if the show is moving ahead like nothing has changed. But let's be honest, everything has changed. The cast and crew are stepping back into familiar sets, familiar scripts, and familiar rhythms, but the heartbeat of the series, Diesel, is no longer there to carry it, and that absence is going to be felt, both on screen and off. This is what makes Season 8 unlike any other. It isn't just a continuation, it's a reckoning. Fans will tune in not just to watch Charlie Hudson crack cases or to see the team take down another criminal. They'll tune in to see if the magic can still exist without Diesel. They'll watch every movement Dylan makes, every scene he shares with John Reardon, and they'll compare it, silently, painfully, to Diesel. That's the weight of legacy. And while Dylan is stepping into the role with all the training and preparation that Sherry Davis and the crew could give him, the truth is that Diesel left behind something more than just paw prints. He left behind memories. He left behind moments that shaped the emotional core of Hudson and Rex. Episodes like A Room with a Clue now stand as bittersweet reminders, a final goodbye from a dog who never knew he was saying farewell. And then there's John Reardon, returning to set after fighting for his life against cancer. Imagine the pressure he carries. On one hand, he is stepping back into the role of Charlie Hudson stronger, healthier, and grateful to be alive. On the other, he must now act alongside Dylan, knowing that every time he looks into those brown eyes, he will be reminded of Diesel. Their bond was real, and John has admitted openly that Diesel was his partner in every sense of the word. Filming without him will be more than just difficult. It will be emotional, maybe even heartbreaking at times. That raw reality could either weigh down the show or elevate it, giving Season 8 an authenticity that no script could ever manufacture. Because grief, survival, and resilience are no longer just themes, they are the truth behind every performance. This is why fans feel such suspense about Season 8. It's not simply about whether the cases will be interesting or the villains clever. It's about whether the show itself can survive. Hudson and Rex has always been marketed as a lighthearted procedural, a police drama with a heartwarming twist, built around the bond between a detective and his dog. But now, That bond is fractured. The show must convince audiences that it still has heart, even when its biggest heartbeat is gone. Can Dylan rise to the challenge? Can the writers weave Diesel's legacy into the story without it feeling forced? Can John find new chemistry with a dog that carries the same name but not the same soul? Those questions will hover over Season 8 like a storm cloud, making every moment charged with meaning. The suspense is not just in the fictional mysteries Hudson and Rex will solve, but in the real-life mystery of whether the series itself can continue. This is the kind of shift that either reinvents a show or destroys it. Some fans are optimistic, pointing out that Dylan has already shown promise during early training and that Dreamer, the stunt double, ensures that the action scenes will remain sharp and polished. Others are deeply skeptical, convinced that without Diesel, the show has lost the magic that set it apart. Both sides will be watching. Both sides will be holding their breath. And that's what makes this season so different. Season 8 isn't just entertainment, it's a test of faith, loyalty, and love, both for the characters and for the audience. If you think about it, there's an irony here. The series itself is living out the same themes it always portrayed: resilience, partnership, and pushing forward even when the odds feel impossible. Diesel's death may feel like the end of an era, but perhaps it's also a chance for Hudson and Rex to prove that its heart is bigger than one actor, even one as special as Diesel. Maybe Dylan can carry the torch in his own way, not as a replacement, but as a continuation of the story. Or maybe the show will always feel like it's chasing a shadow it can never truly catch. That is the suspense that surrounds Season 8, and it is exactly why fans around the world are calling it the most important season in the history of Hudson and Rex. So here we are, standing at the edge of Hudson and Rex Season 8, and it feels less like the start of a new season and more like standing at a crossroads. The show is not just moving forward, it is walking into uncharted territory, carrying both the weight of memory and the hope of renewal. Diesel's absence is the unspoken presence that will linger over every episode, every scene, every moment when Rex is on screen. Fans will watch not just with excitement, but with grief still fresh in their hearts. Because Diesel wasn't just a dog on television, he became a symbol of loyalty, courage, and unconditional love. To many viewers, he felt like family. His passing is not just a loss for the show, it is a loss for everyone who welcomed him into their living rooms for 7 seasons. And yet, Season 8 dares to ask us to keep watching, to keep believing, to keep trusting that Rex's spirit is bigger than one life, one dog, one era. That is the challenge, and that is what makes this season so suspenseful even before it airs. But Season 8 isn't only about grief, it's also about survival, about carrying on when everything feels broken. John Reardon returning after his battle with cancer makes this season even more emotional. He has walked through the fire, fought for his health, and now steps back into his role as Charlie Hudson not just as an actor, but as a survivor. His story mirrors the journey of the series itself. Just as Hudson and Rex must continue without Diesel, John must continue without his partner by his side. That kind of parallel is something you cannot script, something that life itself creates. And because of that, Season 8 has the potential to be the rawest, most powerful season we have ever seen. Every line John delivers, every glance he shares with Dylan, every silent moment between detective and dog will carry the weight of everything that has been lost and everything that still remains. That authenticity, the pain, the hope, the resilience, may be exactly what turns Season 8 into not just another chapter, but a legacy. And then there's Dylan, the young German shepherd who never asked to carry this burden, yet now finds himself in the spotlight, expected to continue what Diesel began. He doesn't just have to perform, he has to win hearts. Fans will study his movements, his expressions, his energy, searching for a spark of Diesel in his eyes. Some will accept him, others will not. That's the reality. But Dylan doesn't need to become Diesel to succeed. He only needs to carve his own place, to prove that the spirit of Rex lives on through him, even if it feels different. In many ways, Season 8 is Dylan's trial by fire, his chance to step into the shadow of a legend and find his own light. And that journey, that uncertainty, is what keeps us all on edge. Will Dylan rise to the occasion, or will Diesel's memory be too overwhelming for fans to let go? That suspense will follow the show episode by episode, shaping the conversation long after the credits roll. The truth is, Hudson and Rex Season 8 will never be the same as what came before. And maybe that's the point. Maybe this season is about more than solving mysteries on screen. Maybe it's about confronting loss, about learning to move forward, about proving that even when one era ends, another can begin. Diesel's legacy will never fade. His final performance in A Room with a Clue will stand as a timeless reminder of what he brought to the world. But Dylan's journey, John's resilience, and the cast's determination to honor Diesel while still building something new is what gives Season 8 its heart. It's bittersweet, it's emotional, it's uncertain, and that's what makes it so compelling. So, when Season 8 finally premieres in February 2026, it won't just be another season of Hudson and Rex. It will be a farewell, a tribute, and a test. A farewell to Diesel, the dog who gave everything to this show and became irreplaceable in the hearts of fans. A tribute to John Reardon, who battled cancer and returned stronger, carrying the weight of both his own survival and his partner's memory. And a test for Dylan, stepping into a role bigger than himself, carrying the name Rex into the future. The show is daring us to believe, to hope, to keep watching, even when our hearts are heavy. And that's why this season matters more than any before. Because it's not just about what happens on screen, it's about whether Hudson and Rex can prove that love, loyalty, and legacy can outlive even the greatest loss. Diesel may be gone, but his spirit will walk beside us in every episode, reminding us that some bonds are too powerful to ever truly end. And that is why Season 8 will break you, but it may also heal you, one story at a time. Everything you thought you knew about Hudson and Rex is about to change forever. Season 8 is not just another season, it is the end of an era. For years, fans have fallen in love with the unshakable bond between Detective Charlie Hudson and his loyal partner Rex. But now, with the heartbreaking death of Diesel, the beloved German Shepherd who defined this show from the very beginning, Hudson and Rex faces its toughest challenge yet. The question is simple, but the answer may destroy us. Can this series survive without the heartbeat that carried it all these years?